My therapist told me that I am undateable. Yeah. In a session, and she just turned to me and she said, Trevor, I think it is because you are undateable. I was like, I guess you also didn't like the Grammys. She told me this at the end of a session, which I feel like should be illegal. Right? Well, like therapists will drop a bomb on you at the end of a session and then just expect you to wait. It'll just be like, yeah, and that's why your father could never love you. And you're like, what? Oh yeah, we've run out of time. I'll see you next time. No! No, next video, next video! I don't want to wait a week. I want Netflix therapy, not HBO. I had to wait 2 weeks, and then in my next session, I was like, where were we? Let's go into it. And it was like, yeah, skip recap. Let's go. And she was like, well, Trevor, I was thinking about, you and relationships and what we're talking about. And we're talking about my inability to be in a long-term relationship. And I was trying to understand why, and we're delving into it. And she said, I think it's because you are undateable. And then she broke it down for me. She said, there are a few reasons. I think you work too much. I know you love your work, but you work too much, and that doesn't create a good balance in your life. She said, also, you travel too much. And being in the same place is crucial for building a solid relationship. But I'll be honest with you, those things are really just the side dish. Right? The main course and the real issue I have is, as my therapist put it, I have an inability to not say what is in my head. And she taught me that one of the keys to a long, successful relationship is knowing when to think and when to speak. Yeah. And I was like, I don't have that problem. I'm a good communicator. She's like, no, Trevor, oftentimes, you have thoughts and you immediately say them. You just have the thought and it comes out your mouth. And Trump was like, tell him, girl. I was like, I don't know. I don't think I have that as a problem. I think it's probably something. She's like, no, I've got notes. Hold on, I've got some notes. And she pulled out the notes and she's like, let's go through some examples. And there was one example that really, she was right. It happened with an ex-girlfriend of mine. It was the fracture that led to the end of the relationship, really. It wasn't the moment, but that fracture caused the outcome. We were getting ready for bed. It was an innocuous night, brushing our teeth, getting into the covers. And then before we turned off the lights, we started talking to each other and we got really cozy. You know those moments where you're with the person you love and you just find yourself in a rabbit hole of stories you've never told and feelings you've never shared, and you're laughing and you can feel you're falling more in love. And we're lying there on the pillows, looking at each other, and she's there staring at me. And all of a sudden she's like, hey, can I ask you a question? I was like, yeah. Yeah, of course. She's like, if you could change one thing about me, what would you change? Now, I have since learned that there is a correct answer to this question. And yes, one correct answer. Regardless of how unique your relationship is, if you want to win this game show question, the answer you give, if she says to you, if there's a woman in your life and she says, if there's one thing you could change about me, what would you change? The correct answer is nothing. Aha. Yes, I wish you were all there with me that night. Yes. Correct answer is nothing. You say, nothing, babe. I would change nothing about you because everything you are makes you perfect for me. If anything, can I be honest? I would change myself. I would change myself so that I would be better able to receive the love that you so freely give. That is what I would change. Sometimes people will say to me, they'll be like, oh, Trev, you lucky, you got out. Oh, you got out, bro, you're lucky. First of all, I didn't get out. You make it sound like I escaped. I left to go and work. I always come back. People go like, you got out, right? You got out. Make it like I was in the plane, like, go, go, they're coming. Don't let them see me. Go. I love this country. I love South Africa more than anything in the world. It's in my bones. It's in the way I was raised. It's in the languages I speak. And I'll be honest, nothing makes me sadder than the way some people talk about the country. I don't judge them, by the way, because I understand. But, you know, like sometimes people will walk up to me and they think it's going to be like something we'll share. They'll be like, oh, Trevor, South it's terrible. It's the worst country in the world. Huh? Ah, Trevor, this country is rubbish. It's the worst. It's terrible. There's nothing worse than this. I'm like, look, I understand that you're frustrated, but like, be mindful of your words. This is far from the worst country in the world. It's far from it. Right? If there's one thing I hope people would realize is when you give up, that's when it truly fails. Right? It is not the worst country in the world. In my opinion, it is a great country that's going through one of the worst periods in its time. There's a difference. You can have a great country going through a bad time. It doesn't mean that it's now a bad country. We've got so many things to hope for. We've got so many things to work for. People, are you kidding me? And then people will come to me, they'll be like, yeah, but Trev, it's easy for you to say, bro, but look at the looting and the riots. Yeah, guys, there's looting and riots in every country around the world. It happens when there's a lack of service delivery. You will see it anywhere. America was burning down at some point. Paris is burning every few weeks. Huh? Every few weeks. Have you seen them? And the French are angry. Petrol bombs everywhere. J'ai trop de l'épaté du croissant dessus. Allez, du roi de la merde. C'est trop du futur. Yes, I know they also loot and riot in South Africa, but at least here in South Africa, when they loot, they smile. That way I know it's not personal. They're shaking things up. One of my favorite lootings I ever saw was on the news. There was this guy who looted a TV. He looted a TV, guys. And it was a short guy, and he was running with the TV, and just like, yeah, yeah. And you could see he was having the best day ever. Yeah. And while he was running with the TV, another guy came who was bigger than him and grabbed the TV. And he was like, And then the big guy took the TV. And then he ran away with it, gone. And this little guy, I've never seen a human have so many emotions in 30 seconds. Yeah. 30 seconds earlier, this guy was in heaven. He was there running with his new TV like, yeah, where's the police? 30 seconds later, he was like, where's the police? I'll take it any day of the week. People be like, yeah, you know, you say that, Trevor, you say that. You say that. Yeah, but what about the crime? What about the crime, Trevor? Huh? Yes, I admit it, the crime is terrible. It's out of control. We have to do something about it. We have to fight against it, you know? But the thing that gives me hope is that it's a problem that has a solution. Economists have shown time and time again around the world that when there's a high rate of crime, it is often tied to a high rate of unemployment. And so if you work to fix that unemployment, you are then solving the problem of crime. They've shown this time and time again. It is not an easy problem to fix, but it is fixable. People are like, oh yeah, but you're in America, bro, you're lucky. You know, you don't even have crime. It's like, okay, first of all, there is crime. And second of all, there's something else that we don't have in South Africa, mass shootings. Yeah, that's the craziest thing ever. Just randomly, you're in a room, in a public space, anywhere. Someone comes in, giant gun, starts shooting. 10 people, 20 people, 50 people, 100 people, dead. Why? Nobody knows. Imagine that. Now you're dead. You don't know why. Just getting into heaven. I know they're both terrible, guys, but for me, I'll choose crime, No, because even with crime, at least there's a moment where I know there's hope, where I can be like, okay. But let me take my SIM card and delete my browser history. I'll choose South Africa any day of the week. These are things I think about. I have to think about them. Because now I've lived in America for so long that they say that soon I'm going to be given a US passport. Right? You say woo because you don't know what it comes with. Tandaga, be clapping already. Yay! Didn't even ask about terms and conditions. Because I read the terms and conditions of having an American passport. There are many things that I don't like. First and foremost, I will have to be subject to the American legal system. Yeah. I'm not enthusiastic about that. I'm not going to lie. Because I never planned to do anything wrong in America. But in the back of my head, I always thought if something was to be done by me, I felt good knowing they would have to deport me. They would be like, you're guilty, you're deported. And I'll be like, no. And then I'll come home and be like, Maracas, you must know, must. South Africa, you guys know, must. You know what happens sometimes, but you never know. Why did Rihanna leave her iPhone like that? No, but I seriously don't want to be involved in the American justice system. Because they say it's justice, but it's terrifying. You don't know how they'll treat you. You don't know why they'll treat you. The scariest part for me is what happens in courts. Because they have a jury system in America. I'm terrified of that. Terrified of it. For those who don't know, I'm sure you've seen it on TV, but for those who don't know, the American system is very different to the South African one. In South Africa, you have the judge, you have the prosecution, and you have the defense. Right? That's who your case is working with, and the judge decides. The judge has studied, they're learned, they know what's going on. And you can talk to them on their side. I'm joking. But I like knowing that person had to go to school to figure out whether I broke the law. In America, it's a different system. They have a judge, they have a prosecution, and they have a defense, but they also have a jury. A jury. 12 people who are randomly gathered, randomly picked, who decide your fate. These people do not need to have studied the law. They don't need to understand the law. They don't even need to have watched Law and Order. Now they're deciding your fate. Tlan, tlan. I don't want that in my life. Yeah, I don't. I don't want that, and I don't want to be on a jury either. That's what comes with getting an American passport. You now have to be on a jury. I don't want to be on a jury. You know why? Because I'm South African. Yeah, and you're probably wondering, what does that mean? I'll tell you what it means. I read the rules of being on a jury, and I realized South Africans can never be on a jury. Yeah, because there's certain rules when you're on a jury. One of the most important rules right at the top of the list is if you are on a jury, if you're serving on a jury, you may not express your feelings or emotions about anything that is happening during the case. You may not talk about it, and you may not, during the case at any time, on the trial, you may not on the bench, you may not say anything. Anything, yeah, when the jury is standing, like you can't express, you can't do anything. South Africans, immediately disqualified. You tell me which South African is going to be able to sit there during a trial, hiding all their emotions. Which South African? That case is going to be going on. Bah, bah. Prosecution can start. Thank you, Your Honor. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, this man burned down his home for the insurance money. Pa, pa, pa. Order, order. The jury shall be silent, completely silent. Oh, sorry. You insurance, you. Mr. Michaels, where were you the night of the fire? I was walking. I wasn't at my house. You weren't anywhere near the house? No, I wasn't. Then tell me, Mr. Michaels, why did your clothes smell like gasoline? I didn't talk. And can you imagine a South African jury deciding your case? You would never know which way the verdict would go. The judge would be there. Ladies and gentlemen, the jury, have you got your verdict? We have, Your Honor. How do you find? We find the defendant guilty. Okay, and why is that? He didn't greet. Yeah, he just came in here. Well, nothing, no greeting, nothing. Yeah, magaham. I'm walking in the streets one day, and they've got a beautiful city center there. And I'm walking on a street called Cliff Street. I'm walking along, minding my own business. And from across the street, almost a block away, I hear some guy screaming my name. Trevor! Trevor! And I turn and I see, and there's a guy far on the other side who's wearing like blue overalls, and he's like, Trevor! And I look and he's like, wait there! And he comes running. And guys, he said it with such confidence, I waited. I didn't even know, like, that's something that could never happen overseas. I can bet you money now. There's no one overseas who's like, Oprah, wait there. That's not a thing. This guy made me stop. He came running over. He was like, yo, Trevor, where must the cunt? Yeah, but I can't believe it. This is most you, nah? This is most you. Yeah, it's you most, né? Trevor Noah. And I was like, yeah, it's me. He's like, it's not you. I was like, no, it's me. He's like, nah, man, you're not Trevor. You look like Trevor Noah. I was like, I am Trevor Noah. He's like, it's not. I was like, okay, it's not. He's like, it's most you, Trevor Noah. Yeah, it was you. Why are you acting like it's not you? I was like, because you said it's not me. You're trying to be funny here, Trevor. No? I can see you. Can I take a selfie there, Trevor? Can I take a selfie? I was like, yeah, let's take a selfie. He's like, okay. Yeah, let's take a selfie there. Let's take a selfie. I'm like, yeah, let's do it. He's like, you must do your phone there. I'm like, what? He's like, I've got a cock phone, Trevor. Take it with yours. You've probably got a nice phone, like an iPhone or something, but I'll take a picture there. I'm like, and then do what with it? He's like, you must put it there by your Instagram. Yeah, you must tag me. I also want the followers. I was like, yo, dude, let's just do it with your phone. He's like, Trevor, okay, let's take it there. But you mustn't laugh, ne? You mustn't laugh because I got a scam song. You must relax. Okay, we're going to take a picture, ne? Hold on. Let me just delete something here. I just need to make some space here. Let me just delete some pictures. Because I didn't think I was going to meet you today, no? I didn't prepare for this. Now I just got to see, I can't now. That's my girlfriend there. I can't delete that one. This is my mom. This is another picture. This is a picture. You see this one? I'm trying to buy this golf, no? You see there? It's a Mark II. You know Mark II? Yeah, it's a limited edition, this one. Yeah, check that there. Hey, brah, this is almost a nice one. Hold on. Okay. We got it. You ready? Okay, Trevor there. Yeah. Say cheese. And I was like, all right, cheers, man. He's like, Trevor. Yeah, bro. Look now. Look, you spoiled the picture. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, bro, you must wait. I'm like, wait for what? I heard the sound. He's like, bro, on this phone, the sound and the picture is different. It's two separate transactions. I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? He's like, you must wait. Just relax. I'll tell you when you can move, okay? I was like, okay, fine. Okay, let's do it. Then he's like, okay, you ready? Say cheese. And I'm like, there, cheese. Can we move? Don't move. Just wait. Just relax. Just stay there. Well, how long does that? Don't talk. You're gonna spoil the picture. Yeah, just pray someone doesn't phone now. But just wait. Okay, yeah, we got it. Nah, Trevor, why you don't smile, brah? Why you don't smile? Why you don't give me that TV smile? You see, you, Trevor, you mustn't ask me for a picture again, eh, man? It never happens to me anywhere in the world. Only here. Mzansi. South Africa. It's been a wonderful trip. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know how it's going to happen. There's never a dull moment in South Africa. Even just flying around the country has been exciting for me. It's been an injection of South Africa. That's what it's felt like. Just traveling around, particularly because the flying has changed, right? So I told my team in South Africa, I was like, hey, what's the plan? And they were like, well, they're like, who do you want to fly? How are we flying around the country? I said, we do the usual. We're going to fly with SAA. And then they were like, SAA, it's finished. I'm like, what do you mean it's finished? They're like, yeah, it's gone. SABC and SAA generations, all of it's gone. I'm like, what? I'm like, what do you mean it's just finished? So how are we flying? They're like, well, you've got to choose another one. I was like, well, you recommend. They're like, well, we could do like Fly Safair. I was like, all right, is it good? They're like, well, it's not great, but it's reliable. It'll get you where you need to go. I was like, what do you mean it's not great? They're like, well, they just make you pay for everything, and it's like it's very they just make it very efficient. I didn't realize how efficient. Yo, Fly Safair is on another level, guys. I don't know who's running that airline, but they're serious, eh? They don't waste time. They make sure they make their money. They make you pay for everything. Everything. Yeah, you buy the plane ticket. That's just the beginning of the transaction. Yeah, you want a specific seat, you pay. You want to bring a bag, you pay. Yeah, you want food on the plane, you pay. Yeah, you want to board early, you pay. Those people, they're finding everything, yeah? It's only a matter of time before you're on a Fly Safair flight, and 10 minutes before landing, they come up to your seat like, I'm sorry, sir, it looks like you didn't pay for the landing option. So we're gonna need you to jump out now, if you don't mind. You're like, yeah, but can I pay now? Sorry, sir, we don't take cards. I don't think I've ever been on an airline like Fly Safair. It was the most South African experience I could ever ask for. Everything was different. Everything. The flight was supposed to be 2 hours flying to Cape Town. It took 1 hour 30. Everyone said it's normal. How? How are you getting to a place 30 minutes earlier? You're flying in a straight line, in the sky. How? People are like, oh, that's what happens with Fly Safair. No, what do you mean that's what happens? Doesn't that freak you out? So what's happening up there? Is the pilot taking shortcuts? He's just there, busy cutting. Yeah, cut here, double up. 10 by stratas. Everything on that flight is different. When you land and you get to the gate, you're not allowed to stand up. No one told me that. Yeah, I stood up by myself. I was there. Everyone around me was like, I was like, I want to get my bag. They're like, oh, you must wait. You must wait. Yo, guys, and the way people talk in that plane, it's almost like Flying Safair came with a shambok one day to everyone. Because not a single passenger. I sat back down, I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, you wait for Safair to say you can stand. You don't want to see them get angry. What did they do to you, South Africa? You can tell me. That whole flight was different. Oh, you know what was interesting? There was no recline button. Yeah, that was different. Yeah, you can't recline your seat. Yeah, the seat is there. And then I got into it. And then I was like, okay, let me relax. And then I was like, whoa, where's the, okay. And then, sometimes you don't know where a thing is. So I was looking, I'm busy pulling things. I'm like, where's, and this is something that could only happen in South Africa. There's this Indian guy sitting next to me. And he sees me, because he's fidgeting around, sees me fidgeting. And at some point he turns and he's like, hey, Trevor, what's wrong there, man? And I said, no, man, I can't find the recline button. And without missing a beat, this man was like, oh, no, don't worry. They sell it there when you start flying. Yeah, they're going to bring it with the Pringles and the water and stuff. You can buy it. It's 55 Rand. Guys, he said it so seriously. And I paid for so many other things that I believed it. I was like, God damn, this airline is crazy. I was like, what an insane airline. I was like, they make you pay for the recline button? You know what an idiot I looked like when they came with that cart? They was pushing that cart down. I was like, and so what would you like? I was like, can I please have the recline button? I want to lean back. Everything on Fly Safair was fun. Everything. My favorite thing on Fly Safair is that it feels personal. That's what I like. I feel like I'm on a South African airline and it feels personal, it feels intimate. I feel like they're flying me. Mostly because they look at me. You know, when they're making the announcements, you see who's making the announcements. That doesn't happen when you fly anymore. Flying has become so impersonal. You know, they just put down that video monitor and then you just watch a little safety video. You know, there's no warmth, there's no character. You've seen it probably when you travel, when you leave South Africa. You know, like when you fly Emirates, you know, and then they'll be like, please watch the safety video. And then the video comes on.
شكرا خيلة ولا خيلة ورليلة إماراتي شكرا ليلة كتور ورليلة السلام عليكم ليلة كارليلة ولا كتور تاجي إماراتي كدير ولا كتيلة كا حبيبي لكرويا يلا يرد كتر ولا ناتيكا إماراتي هجو كورلا خيلة محمي خليا لا بنصل كدراينا أعطيك خليل بردينا برديا شكرا. Welcome to Emirates.
That's not personal, that's not for me. Flights airfare feels like it's custom made. You see the person, they take that telephone off the wall. On our flight, they had one person making the announcement and another person doing the actions. Yo, guys, I was having the time of my life. Because that woman took the phone off, she's like,
welcome, ladies and gentlemen, aboard this Flights airfare flight. Please pay attention to the following safety announcement. You will find the seatbelt will be fastened like this. And unfastened like this.
just to make that person feel like they were actually doing something worthwhile, I did it with them. When they were like, unfasten, I was like,
Please also note you will find a life vest under your seat in case of a water landing emergency. Place it over your head and pull the strips to inflate the jacket. If it does not inflate, you can blow into the red toggles on either side.
I love it. It was interesting. It was unique. It felt like I was home. You know, the whole flying experience felt like, the only thing that doesn't feel unique is the pilots. That's what I've noticed, actually everywhere in the world. If you want to feel what a country's like, listen to the flight attendants, right? But then the pilots, no matter where you are all the same. It's almost like they went to the same school where they've been trained the same way to fly. They've all got that same sexy pilot's voice. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Like, flight attendants can sound however they like. You know, they do that thing. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. No, there's no pilot like that. When pilots come on, they always do that thing of theirs. Boom.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Aboard this Flights airfare flight. This is your captain, John Davies speaking, and I'm going to be taking you down. It's going to be approximately 2 hours. We're just waiting for the last few bags to get loaded, and we're going to be closing the doors, heading off shortly in a northeasterly direction. Taking to cruising.
Like, why are they always running out of breath? Is there a reason that pilots cannot complete one single sentence when they're making announcements? Every time that they're like,
we're going to be at a cruising altitude of 35,000 feet.
It always sounds like they're getting head in the cockpit. Can anybody tell me why? Why does it sound like every pilot is receiving immense amounts of pleasure and they can't get a single sentence out? Every single pilot. It's like someone started just before they started. They were there and they're like, no.
Welcome everybody, let me introduce you to your cabin crew on this flight. In the rear we've got Tandeka, we've got John, and we've got Lisa who are going to be looking after you. Up front, my co-pilot, Mr. Defense, is going to be looking after us. Flight time should be not too long. Keep your seatbelts fastened in case of any unexpected turbulence. I'll let you know once it's safe to move around, but until, sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight.